they were telling me like that they're like, he's jacked, you know, and no one's ever jacked. You know this, right? Yeah. Like someone describes somebody to you and they're like, they're jacked. They're jacked like you and they're strong like you and they're never nothing, you know? And you came in and they're like, oh, this is Kenny. And I go, oh, shit. He is jacked. They're like, this is what I've been trying to tell you.
When we're talking about explosive ability, you still have that ability that you probably had as an athlete. You haven't been separated from that, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah, that's one thing I definitely find super important. I don't want to lose any of the athleticism.
Who are some of the big influences on you?
There's a lot. I have like notebooks on notebooks maxed out of different podcasts. This one, bodybuilding.
Oh, you take notes as you're listening to the shows and stuff?
Yeah, for the last 3 years I've been here in the warehouse, I've listened to like every one of your guys' podcasts. John Jewett, John Meadows, Dave Tate, Matt Wenning, all of them. I have all the notes you could possibly think of.
For people that haven't seen, he's got striations in his legs and his butt. He's got all kinds of shit going on.
In his jaw right now when he chews.
That's sick. He's got an angry ass jaw.
Yeah.
So I was just encouraging you, dude, push through all the way. Like, it's easy for us to talk about it now, and that was 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I said, when you're in the thick of it, you're going to feel like you can't do it, but you gotta.
Now, when we saw you training before, you've been big, right?
Yeah.
But then you did make a transition into, because like you're competing NPC, you were competing against a lot of other guys. How has that transition into utilizing some PEDs been for you? Why did you decide to do it?
Like I said, it's a mental thing. Even if I'm not preparing for something, I'm still challenged. I want to max myself out as much as I can as a human, as whatever I can, the best version of Kenny, physically, mentally, performance-wise. That's what I want. So I go into my doctor and I'm like, hey, I want steroids. I want to get on anabolic steroids. And he was like, he just looked at me so like, who is this 12-year-old kid that's like playing baseball? Like, who are you? So,
how about that dick though?
There's a penis pump right behind you, sir, if you want to take a break.
I would love to use that right now.
Because you don't need to just whip it out right here on the show without a pre-pump.
I haven't even.
Imagine that. Imagine if you're like, how's out that dick though? And you're just like,
Dude, I almost forgot.
I
almost forgot I had a dick. It hasn't worked like in a month. Like I've just been not from. It literally doesn't work, but like I haven't had the desire to even go down, do nothing. Like I'm just so
no desire to go down on yourself.
No, zero.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about Marek Health, the premium telehealth clinic owned by Derek from More Plates, More Dates. Now, when some people think about Marek Health, they think it's just another one of those testosterone companies or another one of those blood work companies. But Marek Health is really cool because, you can get your blood work done, you can get hormone optimization, but you can also get nootropics. You can also get Viagra. You can get literally whatever you need from that clinic. And they make it very, very easy for you. That's why we love Marek. So, Andrew, how can people learn about it?
Yes, Marek Health is not just a one-trick pony, but if you did want to get your labs done, we highly recommend the Power Project panel. That's 28 different labs. That's also going to come with a client care coordinator that's going to give you a lab analysis, and they're going to work with you and help you optimize your body. Again, that's at marekhealth.com/powerproject. At checkout, enter promo code PowerProject to save $101 off that entire panel. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
There's a lot of shit in that fanny
pack. I got everything you need in here.
Whips out his lifting belt.
Oh, yeah. Are we on yet?
We're on.
We're on?
Well, hold on. Let me.
On? Headphones?
Yeah, you put them on so you can hear yourself.
Official.
There you go.
Oh, what?
See?
Oh, yeah, you hear that.
It's like a video game.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny, what's in here, man?
Uh-oh.
How lit is this going to get me?
Super.
That'll get you pretty ripped. It's a stizzy.
I don't know what the fuck a stizzy is, but let's go.
That?
It's wax.
Oh, careful.
No,
careful.
He'll be good.
Nothing came out.
Let me see.
All right,
he's got to warm it up.
Mark's like, what the fuck are these?
Oh, it's dead.
What?
You need like a
charge it all morning,
USB cable or something?
Yeah, USB.
Which one?
I swear to God. Look.
Just, don't do drugs. Kids.
Sometimes it lights you up too much to whether you can remember whether it's charged or not.
Yeah.
Dude, what is going on, Kenny? You're doing a bodybuilding show?
I am, yep. Saturday. Yep. In San Diego.
Damn, how long you been prepping for this?
Oh, like 16 weeks, probably. Yeah, about 16.
And I know that you came from a baseball background, but have you always been pretty interested in bodybuilding, or is this something maybe that popped up a little more recently?
I've been pretty obsessed with bodybuilding from a young age. Yeah. Like I got my first weight set at like 12, and I've always been super fascinated with just like improving your physique. Even if I was playing baseball, I would still take the time, do the sport specific training, do all that, and then do my own stuff because I wanted big biceps.
Were the coaches like, yo, you need to chill on that?
Yes, actually.
Every summer you'd come back and they're like, hey, like, no, that's not good for baseball.
Yeah. Oh, that was one of my biggest issues was like my high school coaches especially. I love them, but they would always be like trying to send me to this coach, just baseball stuff like that I always thought was super boring. I wanted to deadlift, I wanted to rip weight, get big. So I always kind of steered away, like did my own thing for the most part, just trained how I wanted to train.
Yeah.
That was always a battle. Like they'd be like, what are you doing? Like you're just getting tight, but I still was able to move and stuff. It's not like I lost anything. I just got stronger. I kept getting bigger and stronger and faster. So I was like, I don't see an issue with it. So
what was your peak weight in baseball?
Like 198.
And you're like 6 feet, 5'11"? What are you?
5'11", I'd say, yeah. 5'11", 5'10" and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should give yourself that extra half inch. But how young did you start baseball?
Oh man. I started like 7.
Yeah.
7.
And that was the main sport, baseball, and then lifting starting at 12?
Yeah. So baseball started super, super young because I came from like my family's all baseball. My dad got drafted as a pitcher out of high school and then college too. And my grandfather went to Stanford and played like rugby, baseball, football. So I'm like in it. So at a young age, I was like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of went another way, started gaining a passion for bodybuilding. I didn't know it was bodybuilding at the time. I was just lifting weights and I was like, what is this pump? I'm getting huge. I feel jacked. So I'd be banging out curls before school and stuff, doing stuff like that. And then it just led me into like this. Now I just am obsessed with it. I just kept getting like better. I kept improving myself. I kept liking the fact that I could control it because in baseball, there's like guidelines. Like you can't go too hard. You can't train like this. That's what I was told. So I was like, I'm going to do I want to do it my way. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I ended up just liking that way more.
I want to give people some backstory and some context. So Kenny works here at Sling Shot, and he's been here for a handful of years. I was made aware of you by the Shorts family, and the Shorts, they work here. Casey Short runs our warehouse and our logistics, and you work with him. And I can't remember if it was Casey or who brought you up, but they're like, we got this family friend that like loves lifting. And I think it was probably Casey, and he's like, he's friends with my kids and stuff, and he loves lifting. And they were telling me like that they're like, he's jacked, you know, and no one's ever jacked. You know this, right? Yeah. Like someone describes somebody to you and they're like, they're jacked. They're jacked like you and they're strong like you, and they're never nothing, you know? But I think maybe you were invited over my house one time or something.
Yep,
we had like a barbecue or something.
Yep.
And you came in and they're like, oh, this is Kenny. And I go, oh, shit. He is jacked. They're like, this is what I've been trying to tell you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So that was great to see that you are actually jacked and all that good stuff. But it's been great having you here. And then you're also somebody that is training inside a super training gym. So we've seen your maturity, we've seen your growth, and you have done a powerlifting meet before, right?
Yeah, I've done 2. Yeah.
And you really were liking powerlifting a lot, and you were training with Smokey, and you were getting all into that whole side of things, deadlift and squat and benching.
Oh yeah.
But you really like that a lot too, right?
I still love that. I still want to do a powerlifting meet after this. Like that's like my favorite style to train is like powerlifting, like explosive lifts.
And that's the thing about you is you're extremely explosive, even when there's heavy weight on the bar, especially when it came to deadlifts. I remember that was kind of one of the first things I noticed is when you were deadlifting like 500 pounds, you were doing it super fast and super easy. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, this guy fucking does know how to lift.
And a cool thing too, on his page, I don't know if it's there, but obviously there's all the lifts because Kenny's fucking strong and I want to know what your top lifts were. But there's some videos of you still doing box jumps.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about explosive ability, you still have that ability that you probably had as an athlete. You haven't been separated from that, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah, that's one thing I definitely find super important. I don't want to lose any of the athleticism. Like, I still want to be able to be somewhat functional and use the muscle I put on my physique. The last thing I want to do is go too deep into the bodybuilding hole, and then other things start to like slow down and lack. I want to be well-rounded for sure.
Who are some of your role models in bodybuilding? Like, who are some guys, especially now, like that you're kind of watching and paying attention to? And I know that you're studying this game a lot too, and I believe you're listening to podcasts and stuff. Who are some of the big influences on you?
I would say for bodybuilding, man, there's a lot. I have like notebooks on notebooks maxed out of different podcasts. This one, bodybuilding.
Oh, you take notes as you're listening to the shows and stuff?
Yeah, for the last 3 years I've been here in the warehouse because I can't walk around on my phone, so I'll put headphones in. I've listened to like every one of your guys' podcasts, John Jewett, John Meadows, Dave Tate, Matt Wenning, all of them. I have all the notes you could possibly think of. So yeah, I'm obsessed with like just bettering myself, being good at strength, whatever it is. I have notes on rappers, like just anything I can improve on.
Yeah.
I make sure I'm on top of it. But as far as bodybuilding, I would say people like John Meadows, John Jewett, mainly because their personality too, like they're big on being genuine, like good energy, positivity, not so much like the dark side of things, like making it this suffering negative thing, like embracing it. Like, this has been a fun process for me, so I need to make sure I'm listening to the right people and not doing anything too extreme, not doing anything like over the top, because I've been watching so many different people from high school till now and like maturing more and seeing like really they're not people's true colors, but like just being able to weed out like the good and what I want and what like matches with who I am.
That's really well said, because there are many different ways of doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can do it like from the angry side.
Yeah.
And maybe like a Dorian Yates was like maybe in that realm where he lifted in a dungeon and had like kind of like, I don't know, gross looking rag clothes and things like that. And then you had like Ronnie Coleman, who, even though he was getting after it and he was extremely intense, like no one would ever challenge his intensity and how hard he was going and the amount of volume that he put in. But he seemed pretty happy.
Yeah.
Lightweight, yeah, buddy. He's got a big old smile on his face.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like. And I really do love Dorian Yates. But as far as like, you know, I'm more of I try to keep myself positive. Like, I can get into that state, but I don't want to, because then it's like it throws my energy off. Like, I like to be pretty even keel the whole day. Training is fun to me. It's not something I need to like get aggressive for. Like, I don't really ever get aggressive or mad. I'm just pretty chill.
Yeah.
And I love it. So it's not like I don't even think I could get mad unless somebody like punched me in the face. Smokey would like hit me. I'd get pretty amped up, but that's about it. Like, that's the most you're getting out of me.
A funny thing though, man, is I've been seeing you these last few weeks. I'm like, Kenny's more calm than usual. Like, usually I see you're just like, you know, but like you're just like, kind of. What's going on, man? Like, you're in the deepest parts of prep. How does it feel? What are some things maybe you didn't expect?
And for people that haven't seen, he's got striations in his legs and his butt.
Just
he's
covering
got all kinds of shit going on.
In his jaw right now when he chews. That's sick.
He's got an angry ass jaw.
Wait, you said
the calm demeanor. Is it from maybe caloric deficit or?
I would say
cardio?
I would say a mixture of both. I would say I've just really the difference, because when I was 19, the first year I came here, I did try to do a prep and I didn't mentally I was like so far out of it. So I had to like take a step back to really figure myself out and kind of like I'm an overthinker. So everything I do, I'm thinking like 10 steps ahead about the worst possible things, the best possible things. So that used to be something that ate me up a lot and ruined a lot of things for me, like anxiety.
Yeah.
So I took the time to like really just like hone in on like who I am, what I need to be doing, use that as a strong suit. So now I overthink still, but it's all like positive thoughts. It's not these negative ones. I just X those out. Now I'm able to stay calm and like be super, super present in whatever I'm doing. So instead of like getting overwhelmed that I'm not sleeping, I'm pounding myself in the gym. I feel fatigued. I'm tired. It's like, I know this is going to be over. I'm enjoying the process. And it's just fun to me now.
I'm going to give you a new word, a new weapon. You ready?
Yeah.
Thoughtful.
Thoughtful. I love that word.
You're thoughtful.
Yeah.
You're not overthinker. You're thoughtful.
Yeah.
You like to think about what it is you're going to do and like to think about your plan.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable
Thank
to me.
you. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm big on being thoughtful for sure. And I think that's the one thing that's helped me a lot. Like obviously the environment I'm in, I've got to see you guys and like just kind of watch over what you guys do, how you guys carry yourself. Like you guys are never out of character. You're always calm. So I'm like, all right, I need to follow those steps. And I kind of did. Just figuring myself out really. Like it's going to suck no matter what at some point, but it's how you could either let it like break you like it did last year when I tried it, or you just push harder. Like Mark gave me some advice earlier in the prep that really just like fired me up and got me going. So anytime I feel fatigued or anything, I'll just lean into it harder. I'll be like, you know what, this fucking sucks. I'm starving, but I'm gonna go do more cardio. I don't care. Like I'm just gonna pound myself because I know it'll be over. I know it'll be worth it. And yeah. That's kind of how I stay calm. I just do it. Like I try not to let the negative thoughts get to me. And the reason I'm calm is just I try to just give out good energy, receive it back. I'm not reacting to anything as much as I used to when I was a little bit immature. And yeah, I think obviously I'm slammed from a deficit for like 16 weeks and training. So that has something to do with it. I'm usually like up and ready to go.
You're the peaker, man.
Yeah, I do.
You're the fucking peaker.
I'm still peaking. Don't worry. I'll be peaking on Sunday. But as of now, just really controlling my mind. Like that's what I'm big on. Like controlling my mind, not letting anything get in there.
I think something that's been really helpful for you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got some strong training partners that came in.
Oh yeah.
And that is a really powerful tool because it takes some pressure off of you, you know? You don't have to necessarily do everything in your power, even though you're still going to ensure that you're going to have a great workout. Because even if for some reason you are a little sideways for a particular day, you are a little fatigued or tired, you got two other guys that are going to be right there pushing. And those guys, I mean, they're not letting you slack. You're not letting them slack. So everyone's all in, and the intensity is brought to every single thing. And a lot of intention is brought to every single thing you guys been doing.
Oh yeah. That definitely turned it up a lot. Cause I went from the powerlifting scene where like Smokey, definitely like he was like, if you're sandbagging it, I'm gonna be up your ass. So I had that for a long time, which was amazing. He kind of showed me the ropes on like what the standard is. So people like being around people like Sully and his brother, like they set the standard for me. Like I can't bitch out on anything. So when I saw them, and Nsima was like, get more people in here. So I saw, he's 21. They're both my age.
Trevor and Aiden?
Yeah. They're super passionate about bodybuilding. I haven't really like been around people my age that are the same mindset as me, like bodybuilding, strength, whatever, just improving yourself, pushing yourself in the gym. So I just DM'd him and was like, hey, come to super training Tuesday. And they showed up and we just clicked. We just went right to it. Like, so.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So you never met those guys before
No,
that?
I never met them. I just DM'd them.
It sounded like it looked like you knew them for a while.
Yeah.
That actually is a really interesting thing.
We got to bring up that Jim Bro clip.
Yeah.
I don't have my phone with me.
Which one?
The Henry guy, the guy that we've been trying to get here with the long grayish hair.
Oh, it's in the group chat.
Yeah, he did. Like it talks about bromance is happening really fast or whatever. It's like there's a girl.
Like too buff for this, or is that somebody else?
No, keep going. It's the long-haired dude, Mark
Harley.
Harley.
Mark Harley.
Let me pull this
Yeah.
shit up real quick.
It's really dumb, but it's funny. It's fun. You know, it's just like, I don't know. This gym humor stuff is always really stupid, but it's fun.
It's an interesting thing though, because we talk about how like some dudes find it difficult to like make friends as adults. And you just DM 2 dudes and now they're your fucking gym partners.
Yeah,
that's
that-
actually really cool.
Yeah, that's one thing I think I'm somewhat good at is like I
Sliding
can be,
into the DMs.
Yeah. Oh,
Get
yeah.
these guys in the DMs.
Oh yeah. I got a lot of dudes in my DMs. Let me tell you. A lot more
of
dudes than
eggplant
females.
emojis and maybe more. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What happened here? Let's see.
Oh,
This is all weird.
Oh yeah, you got to get the audio in there.
Here, I'm working out right now.
Okay.
She tried to tell him about her nails.
Don't tell me.
Isaiah, you were just so short with me, and now you're having a whole conversation with this guy?
Oh no, it's a chest day thing. Ah, we did it again.
Love it.
Airplane.
You haven't finished your workout.
No, I was just feeling sluggish. I need a pre-workout. I'm gonna finish my workout.
That's how I
That's
feel
5
with the
seconds
boys
left
for
about my
sure.
nails, You're so uninterested. But then with this guy, you're gonna throw all this away for some guy you've been training with for 3 months?
Wait, 3 months?
We just met today.
You guys just met?
It doesn't take long to become gym
bros.
bros.
I'm supposed to pay my nails after this.
That's facts.
Hey man.
So that just described your relationship with these two guys.
It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how we are. We just clicked from day one.
Is there one guy in the group that likes chest and one guy in the group that likes legs versus right? Like
Yeah, I mean, I would say Trevor. I don't want to call either of them out. I would say Trevor. He like every day he loves Aiden. I don't know. So he's progressing. He's getting there. He's in a good environment.
Yeah.
He has a lot of
he
potential.
maybe doesn't love legs day.
He might not like leg day too much. He loves it, but he might not like it
Hey
as much
guys,
as us.
listen. So Wednesdays, I'm probably not going to be here. You know,
Yeah.
And you're like, that's the day that we fucking train. That's the day we go to war. That's the day
Yeah.
we train legs.
Exactly.
I
Legs is
get
an
it. I get
acquired taste, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be
Yeah.
brutal. The training can be brutal.
It is.
Yeah.
Are you still getting really sore from these workouts? I mean, I guess at this point you're dialing stuff back a pinch, but
Yeah.
you
This-
guys are doing a lot.
Yeah, this last week, my coach told me to definitely scale back. But until this last week, I mean, I've been wrecking myself as hard as I can to create that like little extra deficit in the gym too, just outside of cardio, like because you can use your training to like get lean. So I'm training hard. I'm doing like 1-2 top sets to failure, sometimes past failure, like really trying to push myself to just condition my body more. Like that's all I'm thinking about is like get lean. So the gym is just as important as like everything else to me. Like I'm trying to just bury myself every session pretty much until this last week.
What I mentioned to Kenny a couple weeks ago was just the fact that it's really rare to see someone go all the way. You know, they get there and they do really well and people get in good shape and you're like, that's awesome. Like good for them. That's so cool that they got in shape.
Yeah.
But it's rare to see someone like go all in, and everyone knows and everyone notices when someone goes all in. I mean, somebody might not know if someone like dialed something back just a tiny bit, but like for the most part, people can tell. And for me, when I competed, I don't know, like if I went 100, but I felt really good about what I did especially in a short period of time. I felt like I went about as all in as you could go. Did I maybe miss one cardio session? Like I was supposed to do 90 minutes of cardio every day. I definitely did. There's definitely some mess ups earlier on with food, but not later.
Yeah.
And so staying dedicated to it is the toughest part, and really stringing together successive days in a 16-week training cycle like that,
Right. Yeah.
is where stuff gets to be really brutal and really nasty. So I was just encouraging you, dude, push through all the way. Like, it's easy for us to talk about it now, and that was 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I said, when you're in the thick of it, you're going to feel like you can't do it, but you gotta.
Right. Yeah.
The glutes are in. Like, that's when you know his glutes are in.
Yeah, I put some check-ins on my story this morning. I'm feeling pretty flat, but my coach gave me some carbs today, so
Pull
I'm
the story. Can
excited.
you see his story?
I'm excited. Oh yeah, look, the next one. It's our relationship right there. Yeah. Very supportive.
Damn, dude. It's going to be crazy to see you fill out. But let me ask you this, actually. You know, on Mark's mentioning, go all the way. In your last prep, you got lean, right?
Yeah.
You didn't get this lean.
No.
So what was the difference?
So that's interesting because I started out, like my last powerlifting meet, I went straight into a bodybuilding prep. I was like, I'm ready to get shredded. But I didn't take the time to feed myself, and like I didn't take a true off season, like of just consistent clean food in a surplus. And I got lean a lot quicker than I did this time around, but I was way smaller. Like I looked very stringy. So I took like this last year to really focus on food, training like the correct way.
Yeah.
For bodybuilding, doing all the things I need to do correct. And then by the time it was ready to like go into a prep, my body was just like firing everywhere. Like I built my metabolism super high up with I basically stayed on the same diet I am on now, just with more food. And I ramped my metabolism up by eating more food and just seeing how high I could get. I got to like 240. I sat there and maintained for a couple months. And that was probably like one of the smarter things I've ever done because
you were up to 240.
Yeah.
And you were 198 when you played baseball and said that it sounded like you were having a hard time cracking 200 at that point, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So it was fun. Like seeing my body this last year, I probably seen the most change as far as like gains in my physique. So that's huge. Like that's why I tell people that ask me like I think you should just eat food consistently, sleep, train hard, get that under your belt for a solid amount of time, and then go into a prep or a cut because you're not going to like how you look when you're that small. Because people talk about like stage weight is a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Like 200, like I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but just not having the stringy look, not pushing yourself into a deficit before, like have a base first is all I'm trying to say. And I didn't have that. I just had a strength base, but I didn't take the time to learn how to train the muscle, like true hypertrophy, like bodybuilding style training. I could load up 405 rows and just go like this all day, but my back was small. So I was like, okay, I need to really focus and change some things so I can look like a bodybuilder, kind of. And like my coach had a lot to do with that, John.
Yeah.
John Heck. He slowed everything down. Like we're doing like 4, maybe 5, like 2 compounds and maybe like a couple isolation movements, and that's it. But it's like super slow tempo, pause at the transition, all that stuff, and it helps.
It's higher repetition.
A little bit, yeah. It's like probably like the isolation work is probably like 12, 15 reps typical, but like we're still working up. Every main exercise is like a top set, so it's an AMRAP. So you warm up like with percentages too, like whether it's hack squat, overhead press, like he's giving me specific percentages to hit like 5, 6, 7 reps and then save it all out for that top set. So it's kind of like low and high volume. It's kind of like Dorian Yates style training for the main exercise, and then the rest is kind of like pump work, I guess.
Gotcha.
So that's the main thing, just slowing everything down, focusing on how to like contract and squeeze and use the muscle and fatigue it, but not just really just go through the motions, like that, because that didn't do anything for me besides build some strength. But
I think a big part of it is you then had something to carve, right? Like you before you were in good shape, you were lean,
yeah,
but you didn't have the mass, right?
Right.
And,
Yeah,
and you wanted to really add the mass, and now you got thicker shoulders, wider shoulders.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest difference was between kind of floating around normal 200, getting up to 240, and now carving back down? Like, have you noticed where you're like, wow, that's kind of neat. Like, I didn't know that my shoulders would get this wide, or didn't know this would happen.
As far as like my appearance, like my look, I would say,
Like, where'd you grow the most, do you think?
oh, where I grew the most, I want to say definitely my legs, and probably, yeah, everything here, like my shoulders, my chest has gone up a little bit. My back is still definitely a weak point. I have trouble like connecting with it, opening up when I pose, but like really everything has kind of gotten better and improved. Like I kind of feel like I filled out everywhere because I'm super like OCD when it comes to training. I can't leave anything out. Tibs, forearms, everything. I'm making sure I give the right amount of attention to, not leaving anything out. So I kind of like, that's how I did it. I've always been like that. Like I don't want to have any weak links at all, whether it's strength, mobility, muscle size. Like I don't want to have any imbalances. So I kind of just did it all at once, gave everything the right amount of love so it all grows at the same, for the most part, at the same time. So
Yeah.
It takes years, right? It takes years to be able to put together a body that looks awesome on stage, and to be able to pose and to flex and to get all those things integrated. It's a tough, bodybuilding doesn't get the credit. And I've always kind of thought, you know, it's funny, once you get exposed to something, then you're a huge fan of it, like especially if you have a good exposure to it. But, you know, doing one bodybuilding show, I was just like, I can't believe that I played sports for so long and a coach never said like, this is how you flex your calf. This is how you flex your hamstring, because it's such an elementary thing, but it's such a huge general thing of like, these are the muscles we're going to use when you're out on the football field.
right.
When you're doing a sprint, when you're trying to cover a receiver, if you're going out for a pass, like these are the muscles you're going to use when you play baseball. And when you go to run to the base, you know, does everybody feel that muscle in the back of their leg? Like just pick up your foot off the ground. And it's just interesting. You never work on any of that. So then you try bodybuilding, you start posing, and you can kind of flex some stuff, but half the other stuff, you're like, I don't even know how to gain access to flexing that part.
Yeah, that's
the posing part of it's really tough.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I definitely like the whole posing side of things. Just everything about it's not even necessarily bodybuilding, like just the mental side of things, like the mental challenge is definitely something that intrigued me coming, especially this prep, like being able to kind of just like tough it out, just kind of embrace it. Like baseball is great. Like you're competing against another team. You have a team on your side. It's very competitive, especially at like a higher level. But bodybuilding, like you're in control of what you're doing, and it's every day like counts. Every day is towards something. So you almost get into like a routine. Like it really has improved my life, my schedule, like my routine. Like every day I wake up with a purpose. I'm like, I got to do this, and this, cardio, meal prep, 10-minute walks, like take notes, like do everything I need to do. So it kind of like has shown me how to set up a schedule and like basically my life. Like it's gave me a lot of structure that baseball really didn't. Like I could just roll out of bed and go to the field and play baseball, and then it's over and I'm just like fucking off and doing whatever. But bodybuilding is like you're in it 24/7. So I would say the mental side of things is probably my favorite part. Like the physique is just kind of that's what comes with it.
And I know, so because people are going to wonder now, when we saw you training before, you've been big, right?
Yeah.
But then you did make a transition into, because like you were competing NPC, you were competing against a lot of other guys. How has that transition into utilizing some PEDs been for you? Why did you decide to do it? And how's that made a difference for yourself in your training?
So I decided to do it because no matter what, I see myself competing, and even if I wasn't competing in anything, I still would. I don't regret the choices I made. Only because, like I said, it's a mental thing. Even if I'm not preparing for something, I'm still challenged. I want to max myself out as much as I can as a human, as whatever I can, the best version of Kenny, physically, mentally, performance-wise. That's what I want, no matter what it's for. I don't care what I'm doing. So at 19, I kind of was talking to other people, and I mean, like after being here, like I came from baseball, which it's super. I wasn't doing it while I was playing, but like I was still getting accused of it and stuff, and it had a bad rap. Like in sports, one, they're not educated on it. They don't know what it is, what they're doing, what they're getting into, what they're talking about, and it has such a bad rap.
They also test for that in like baseball, right?
Yeah,
like, it's
right.
like
So it is not allowed, but it just got such a bad rap. I was always like, it made me kind of like lean into it more. I was like, what is this stuff that everybody keeps like talking so bad about? Then when I got here, I was around people that not in a bad way. I'm not saying anybody influenced me at all. Because I was with Smokey, and at the time Smokey was natty and against it.
Yeah.
So
Your episode is coming out right after Smokey's too, so it's like perfect.
Yeah, I want to talk about Smokey a little bit too after, but regarding the PEDs, so yeah, I mean, I'm open about it. There's no real like, there wasn't a day where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do it. It was kind of like, okay, I want to do this while I'm young. Like I want to do this in my 20s. I want to bodybuild, powerlift. Who knows? Like whatever it is, I want maximal recovery. I want to improve myself. I'm kind of an extreme person, like personally.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really like hard for me. It's not like I was not thinking about it. It's not like I just was like, oh yeah, this is gonna get me big. Like I've been looking into steroids, everything from like a young age, like
Plus
15.
You've been training for
I have a story actually. When I was 12 years old, my mom and dad can vouch for this. I walked up to my doctor because I was obsessed with everything here, like the bodybuilding world, the powerlifting. I was like, oh, Larry, all these guys. I'm like, I just want to be like them. So I'm like, stupidly, I was like, steroids is the answer. So I go to my doctor because everybody's like, I'm like, where do you get this stuff? They're like, oh, you're a doctor. I'm like, all right. So I go into my doctor and I'm like, hey, I want steroids. I want to get on anabolic steroids. And he was like, he just looked at me so like, who is this 12-year-old kid that's like playing baseball? Like, who are you? And he gave me like a whole packet this big. And he was like so scared, and he gave me a whole packet, and I read it, and it was all about anabolic steroids. So from there, I read that.
Your doctor gave you an anabolic steroid handbook?
Yeah. I'm not joking. Because awesome. He was so scared that I was going to like try to go do it that he was like, oh, you need to be educated on it. So then I educated myself. From there on, just listening to other people talk about it, I was like, okay, this stuff, it's not like I'm going to take a shot of test and die. Like I made sure I knew what was gonna happen, and it wasn't really like a hard decision for me. I know what it comes with. I know the risk of doing it young, but I'm like, this is what I want to do. Like I don't want to do anything else. So I don't care like natty, not. I just want something that's gonna like push me, like push my limits. That's what I want. I want to max myself out as a human. So taking a little bit of test wasn't even a question for me. It's just like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. And I had everything else maxed out though at a young age. Like I wasn't just some kid who, oh, I love lifting. Like I had been lifting since I was 12. So that was 19. So I had that chunk of, I know it's not a long time, but it's a good chunk of time.
You were big. Like, you were still big. I don't know if people realize that. Like before you started, you were big.
Yeah. And thick. It wasn't like, everything else was out of line in my life. Like I was on top of sleep. I was on top of food. I was on top of training, everything, like supplements outside of gear. Like everything was maxed out for the most part. Like I was on top of everything. So I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my passion. This is what I want. I want to push myself. I want to see what I can do. And I definitely don't regret it.
It's also important to note the sport that you were looking at and the bodybuilders you were looking at, they were using performance enhancing drugs, and it's not tested for in the particular bodybuilding shows that you're going to and the particular powerlifting competition. So I think, you know, when people kind of think about these things, there's so many different layers to like how you're going to use them, what are you going to use them for.
Right.
We hear so many people, they're like, oh, if I was going to have a movie role and I was going to make a lot of money, like people are always incentivized by money. It's such a weird thing to have that be the only thing that you would risk your health for. Like if people think steroids are really unhealthy, you hear them say that all the time. For a movie role, I would do that. I would look like Thor and I would go all in.
You think you would.
Right. You think that you would, but also like it's kind of cool to do stuff regardless of money. So if it's a passion for you, if it's something that you enjoy, something that you like, not necessarily the steroids, but the steroids come along with the game of bodybuilding. I mean, let's face it, they've been in bodybuilding for 40 years, 50 years. I don't know how long it's been. But it's been there for a long time, and it's been in powerlifting. It's been in strength sports. It's been in strongman competitions. It's just like been around for a really long time. And when I was a kid growing up, when I was watching pro wrestling and stuff like that, I never really, I couldn't like quite compute. Like I couldn't figure out. I wasn't even, I don't even think it was in my head about natty or not. I was not a thought back then. Didn't really think about it. But like Hulk Hogan certainly was fucking massive.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior like looked amazing, you know, and I remember some of these guys, and I always thought like that would be cool to be like superhuman. These guys seem really strong, and obviously like there's a lot of other shit I didn't know when I was a kid. I didn't really understand that, you know, the wrestlers were like doing shit together, like they would. They're a team, like they're telling a story. They're not like actually fighting each other. So Hulk Hogan's not actually picking people up over his head and throwing them into the audience and shit like that. But those were things that I thought were cool, that I admired, that later on down the road, they're things that I got into.
Yeah,
here I am.
That's amazing, because my mom brought to my attention the other day, and the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, like the same thing. I'm a huge WWE fan. Everybody that knows me knows that. Like John Cena, all these people, I was a huge fan of, and even like back in the day, like just different superheroes, action figures. Like I was always, sounds like corny, kind of like typical, but I was just upset. Like I thought that was the norm, like the normal, like having muscle, like having an aesthetic physique. Like
I want to be like our bench press guy over there.
Exactly.
Or Goku right behind you.
Yeah, exactly. So it started with like just seeing people like that, thinking that's like how a male should look, and really just being around other people. Like even I was, as a freshman in high school, like being around seniors on the team and stuff, like they weren't bodybuilders, but they had like thicker legs. I always had skinny. So I'm looking at that like, oh, I just want to be like, it started out with, I just want to be thick. Like, I just want to gain some weight. I just want to look big, because that's in my head. That's how, that's a great, like, that's what I want. So, yeah. But
steroids weren't even a Scheduled III drug when I was young. And the gyms that I would go to and the people that my brother hung around, they were fucking jacked. They were so big. I mean, it wasn't uncommon for people to bench 500 pounds and deadlift 700-800 pounds and things like that. So I saw that at such a young age. It was very impressionable, and I was always like, I don't really know or care about what they're doing. Like, I just want to be part of that. I know that it's somewhere down the road. I want to be, oh, okay, they eat more protein. Okay, cool, I'm in on that. Oh, okay, they're consistent with their workouts. Okay, I'm in on that. Yeah. What else do they do? You know, and even before my time, like they used to write in the magazines about the cycle that the guy would use. So it would say like, trains legs on Monday, benches on Wednesday, does accessory work on Friday, does cardio on the weekend, and here's his diet. And it would lay all that stuff out, his 5 or 6 meal plan. And then it would say, does 400 milligrams of testosterone, Dianabol. Like, it was like in the magazine, and it was like part of the routine. And so my point being is just like, it's a huge part of that style of bodybuilding. People can make a choice. They can go into bodybuilding where you're getting tested, and they can do that, as like Alberto Nunez has done, as Nsima has done. A lot of people have navigated that And
it's just not as popular.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's
done,
the thing.
Yeah,
It's
and done well with it.
Yeah.
And there's guys in that are popular that have created businesses and they do a lot of stuff online and they still have had a lot of success. So people get to make a choice on which way they want to go.
Yeah, I do think just touching on the PEDs, like just for dudes my age, because they like I get so many different questions of like just people being so quick to like just jump on tests and do all this crazy stuff and put stuff in their body. It's like I just want to make it clear, like I had a sit down with myself mentally and was like, is this worth it? Is this what I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, you gotta, I feel like when you're young, you have to play your cards right. Like, it's not like I'm just right out the gate, I'm blasted, I'm taking all the compounds you could think of. Like, one or two, milk it out as long as you can. And then when the time comes that you need whatever it is you need on top of that, then I'm prepared for that. But it's not like I just used all my cards and was like, oh, this is like, I didn't just aggressively go into this. Like, I sat down, I thought about it. I'm like, this is what I love. I'm going to do this as long as I can. So I want to be competitive.
Didn't just flip a coin and you have people that are talking to you about what to take, when to take, how much to take, and so forth.
Yeah, like there's a lot more thinking that goes into that decision. And I know a lot of people are going to see this and be like, oh, he's this or that. He's whatever. Like, I don't care. This is what I wanted to do. And I know the consequences that come with it. But if I didn't put on any muscle or get strong, like, I feel like all the stereotypes, not that it matters, but like you wouldn't even know I'm doing, like, I'm just, that's why I take pride in being a calm, happy guy, because all the negative shit that came, the stereotypes that I knew were out there from baseball and sports that they get. Like, anytime you get mad, it's like, oh, steroids. It's like, no.
Roid rage.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I just try to be calm and let people know, like, my why as to why I decided to do this. I'm not just like jabbing myself and trying to get jacked for the gym. Like, I have long-term goals that I want to accomplish by a certain amount of, like, by an age that are important to me.
What's up, Power Project family? It's time to stop dressing like you're a fucking preschooler and step your game up by checking out Vuori Clothing. Now, I'm not one to talk. I wear a fucking pink hat that has a dog on it, but at the end of the day, at least my shirt and shorts are popping. So head to Vuori because they have great stuff for your top and your bottom. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to vuori.com/power project. That's VUORI.com/power project, and you guys will automatically receive 20% off your order. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the podcast.
An interesting thing, man, about you is, like, again, you've been lifting for a long time. You know, even when you came in here initially, people were like, that boy must be awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you already had that. So the thing about you is, like, it's going to be very interesting to see how you continue to progress. This show, you're probably going to compete more because everyone around has, like, everyone whispers like, Kenny's gonna fucking kill it. Like, everyone knows and can see from your physique, the way you're built, that you're gonna destroy. So it's just gonna be cool to see how far you take things.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah.
Do you have any idea, like, how some of these other guys used to look? Have you ever, like, looked into, like, someone like Chris Bumstead? Have you kind of looked into some of these guys that you're maybe admiring and thought maybe, well, shit, like, he used to kind of look a little bit more like this. Maybe I got a shot to one day look maybe somewhat, he's top of the food chain, but maybe you have your eyes on some people where you're thinking, like, this might be a possibility for me someday.
Yeah, I would say more recently, like, it's not like, I don't know. I can't ever gauge, like, my own set of eyes. I don't see it. I always hear it from other people. Yeah. But I don't really take it and, like, do anything with it. I'm just like, oh, like, I whatever. But I have looked into, like, old school, like, older bodybuilders, like Dorian Yates, like, all these people, and I'll be like, Dorian Yates at 19 or Dorian Yates at 20 or whatever. And I'm by no means comparing myself to him, but I'm like, like, if they can make this amount of progress when they started at this age I'm at, well, maybe I have a chance. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to push for that. But at the same time, I also don't want to go. I was just talking to Casey about this. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. That's the thing about, like, I feel being young is, like, I don't want to push myself down one avenue too hard and aggressive. And then now I'm just a big immobile bodybuilder and I'm doing this 24/7 with no break. Like, I want to make sure I'm still doing other things. Like, I like everything. Like, even jiu-jitsu, Olympic lift. Like, I have other goals outside of bodybuilding that I have to keep in mind and mix in. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just a juggle. But I have looked into that.
I think Nsima does a good job of that. Like, you don't really see a lot of jiu-jitsu on his.
Yeah.
And he's passionate. You're passionate about jiu-jitsu. You love jiu-jitsu. You probably think about it all the time.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? I mean, all the different lifting that we're doing in the gym, he's conscious of it, but he's not like, and he's really successful. He's smashing people, but you don't really see a lot of video of him like, I tapped a black belt, and like you don't really see that. And I think it's cool because I don't want to speak for you, but I'm imagining that it's not your identity. It's not your only identity. Like, oh, I'm a jiu-jitsu, I don't even know what they call it, player.
Yeah. But
or I'm a bodybuilder. I think that's I think that can I think it can work for you in some ways to say I'm a bodybuilder, meaning like I'm on par with anyone else that does this. I'm going to work just as hard. So from that perspective, it can make some sense. But to say you're a bodybuilder and then to have a period after it, I think can be a mistake.
Yes.
Because it's just what you're doing. It's not who you are.
Right. And that's what I was talking to Casey about. You actually, shout out to Casey. He's a man.
Casey's jacked, by the way. We got to get him on the show.
Yeah, we do have to get him on the show.
Casey is a legend. And we were just talking about how you are super well-rounded, and that's kind of been something I like really, really want to make a point on, staying good at kind of every and anything. Like, you're doing a bunch, I see you do a bunch of random stuff. Like, I've seen you train leg, like do the whole leg training and your legs blow up in 2 weeks, and then you're over here doing like stretching and jujitsu. I'm like, that's something I just want to be like.
We're just starting to make shit up at this point.
I just want to be like, I don't know. I just want to be good at everything. Like, like you are. Like,
something interesting though is okay, so you're trying to focus and take bodybuilding. I don't know how far you want to take it, but you're going to do well in your competition, and you have the potential to, I think, in the next few years, smash some big guys in bodybuilding, right? But that does need a level of focus. For example, with what you were doing in powerlifting, that needed a level of focus. Like, you may be able to have done some running, but you wouldn't be running to the extent you are now. For me right now, my athletic focus is jiu-jitsu, and I just so happen to have done bodybuilding before. But I mean, I'm not planning on going on stage. I just still have that as part of my training. So I think we were talking about this, Mark. If you do have an athletic goal, it is good for you not to lose your athleticism as you go, if you choose to, go down deeper on the bodybuilding rabbit hole. You don't want to lose your athleticism, but there is going to be some give on other things as you become potentially a mass monster.
Right.
There's going to be some give.
And you also want to probably think about, what are some ways that you can like cash in on some of this, like what are some ways, like you have a unique way of being able to utilize your body. You've had that for a long time. You had that clearly in baseball, to where it wasn't just, you weren't just another baseball player. You were better than a lot of the other guys around you. Maybe not the best baseball player of all time, but you were better than a lot of other people. There was things athletically that you could do that other people couldn't. You came into powerlifting and you're doing those box jumps and you're going really high. You're super explosive. Who else in the group of 20, 30 guys, is that explosive? So there's something that's part of you. There's something that's in you that has some sort of extra whatever, genetics, along with hard work, along with environment, all blended together. And then like, what are things you can work on or improve upon as you climb the ladder in bodybuilding? Not necessarily just to monetize, but like, what is something that could, provide value maybe for other people, or even just continued mental growth of yourself and maturation and maturity of yourself as you go through the process. I think that's, for me, that's where I would like to see a lot of lifters get to, a lot of people that are into like bodybuilding, powerlifting, just because I know they put their head down, they concentrate really hard on it, and all that's amazing, and that's a skill set in it of itself. But I've just seen so many guys, and I think to Casey's point, break themselves because they loved it so much and it was everything to them. But then because it didn't quite work the exact way they wanted, or even when it does, they get away from it and they're just busted and they can't really figure out the next stage of their life. And that's gut wrenching to me, to see all-time world record holders that are kind of like stuck.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, like, oh, that guy he's such a special person. I would love to see him have made it a little further. And I think it's just because they submerge themselves in that kind of one bracket. So that's probably where Casey's like, because you should kind of put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
you should roll the fucking dice on yourself, and you should choose yourself, and you should envision yourself as being the best bodybuilder ever. You know, you should be able to envision, I'm going to fucking be on top one day. I'm going to be able to do this, this, and this. Like, those are things, especially as you progress further into it. But just put in real simple terms, don't be a dummy about it. Like, pick up on what's going on. And you're certainly already doing that by taking notes when you're listening to podcasts, and you're paying attention to everybody around you. Like, I think you're navigating it really well, especially for being so young.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely agree with that. That's why it's a little bit of a stress for me sometimes. I'm like, obviously I have a bodybuilding I'm very passionate about it. I do love it. And I know it requires, to be what I want to be, it requires a level of focus and attention that you can't really give anywhere else. But that's where I'm like, okay, I'm looking at other people kind of like, okay, how can I make this work? How can I hit my goal of bodybuilding and still be going towards that every day, but on the side, maybe incorporate like other things that I still like. Like, I'm trying to figure that out, because I know with baseball, when I was most successful at baseball, like, I was in it 100%, 110%.
Yeah.
Nothing else had my attention, but that also led me to get tired of baseball and quit. So I'm like, I need to find a balance of, like, you know, I still like to jump, I like to run, I like to skateboard, I like to do a bunch of things that I know because I'm extreme. Bodybuilding, I'm not going to be able to do those things because I want to be an open bodybuilder.
But
I want to be huge.
I think we should all just because we haven't seen somebody do multiple things successfully doesn't mean that it cannot be done. I think already you're winning because your mind is already like, how can I make sure I can maintain my skateboarding and maybe keep my athleticism, blah, blah. Just because other bodybuilders haven't done that, they probably weren't even thinking of keeping it. They're probably just thinking of, I want to gain as much muscle as possible. But as we know, there are things that you can incorporate into your training and practices that you can do habitually on a daily basis, that as you gain more mass, that mass will not have to hinder you as far as other things that you're doing. So you might not see a lot of those examples at the top level, but that doesn't mean you can't be that guy doing that thing at the top level along with everything else. You could be that guy. You just have to incorporate shit.
Right. And I made that clear to my coach too. And he actually he incorporated, like, it's almost, I want to say like a winning warm up. Like, it's meant to just kind of get your blood flowing, heart rate up. But he used like super functional movements, like med ball slams, of like side med ball slams, chest or floor presses and all that kind of stuff, battle ropes. Cause I was like, I don't want to lose that side of me that I know that's one of my strong suits, is like being athletic. That's what I love. So he kind of did that as like a part of my cardio. So yeah, we kind of incorporated all of it. Like, I haven't really pushed cardio at all because I'm doing the things before the training. So like everything kind of meshes together. So that's why I was super surprised. Like, I was like, you know, I thought I was going to have to be doing hours of cardio, like in the bodybuilding lifestyle, but I'm still doing everything I want to do. And I got to this point. So I'm like, that's why I'm a little bit more confident in, like, I could do all these things while still pursuing one goal. Yeah. I just got to kind of wiggle my way and figure out how to make it all balance.
I don't follow bodybuilding enough to know all the names, so I'm just going to keep saying Chris Bumstead over and over again. I don't follow.
That matters, really.
Yeah. Well, I think that the guy has like flipped bodybuilding upside down, you know, on its head pretty much. And there's been other people over the years that have kind of done this too. And there's there's classic physique because there was classic physiques. There was Steve Reeves and there was a lot of people before him. And
Oh yeah.
Arnold had a particular physique and build, and people like to kind of point to that and reference that. But like someone like Chris Bumstead, I mean, I saw, he dunked a basketball like not too long ago, and I don't know what other physical prowess he has. It looks like he moves big weight, and he looks like he moves well.
Right.
I don't know what his day-to-day looks like in terms of how his body is feeling, but I'm just going to take a total wild guess and imagine that he probably feels pretty healthy, probably feels pretty good. Do the joints ache and stuff like that, like a normal lifter? And is he sore? Yeah, sure. I'm sure he is. But I'm imagining that somebody like that who's kind of flipped the paradigm of bodybuilding upside down, where I know he's huge, but like he doesn't look like the IFBB pro, right? Like he doesn't look like the open division bodybuilder, correct?
It's
Right.
different.
He's 50 pounds or 30 pounds difference. Like what's the body? Anybody have any idea the body weight difference? He's probably 225.
Yeah, some of the guys in the open end up being like Kenny, 250, 260. I think you probably pay more. Do you know how much he is on stage?
I know he's around 230, 240. I want to say like. Yeah, he's and in off season, I'm pretty sure he's a big dude. Like
6'1", 230. So
Yeah.
3 to 4% body fat is like a rough Google estimate, right?
Wait,
there.
he's 6'1", 230 on stage?
Yeah.
he's a big boy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just wild. And I guess my point in bringing it up is like there's people that sometimes show us that not only are they different, but they are so good at being different that they show us a completely different way.
Right. Yeah.
They show you like, oh, it doesn't have to be done that way.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem like a guy, I don't know, I haven't really seen or heard him talking much about like hating himself. I haven't seen him ever smash himself in the head before he does a lift.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of crazy music and him like getting all, not that there's anything wrong with that intensity, but it seems like he comes from a positive way of doing things, and it seems like he's just trying to maximize bodybuilding. Let me have a small ass waist and some big ass muscles, and here's the way I'm going to do it.
Right. That's what I'm most attracted to is like people that do that. Like I'm
Looks
more
pretty normal right there.
Exactly.
He's pushing, but I don't even know, what are those, 180s or 200 pounds? I don't know. Pushing on some dumbbells, and yeah, his legs look big, but like he doesn't look crazy there.
Yeah.
But if you stand next to him, or if you see him with his shirt off,
Right.
he's fucking incredible.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you this. Are you trying to go hard on classic or hard on classic physique or bodybuilding? Because you know that those are different physiques.
Oh yeah. Very
right?
different. So initially I was open all the way. Like talking to my coach, I was like, dude, I want to be like this off season, I want to push like 260. I want to be big. Like I know I can do it. And then the more I started like during prep, he was like, you know what? I think we'll kind of like try to, I guess, max out my physique for classic. And then from there, like we can evaluate, okay, are you going to be competitive in this class, or would you be better off trying to be the open physique? So I guess I'm going to try to do it in like little like chunks of time. Like I'll put a lot of effort into trying to create the most classic physique I can, and then that'll only translate to open because I still look up to guys like Sean Roden, Justin Compton, even though he's pretty jacked. But like Sean Roden has a super aesthetic physique. Like he's one of my favorite bodybuilders. So I can only see it be a good thing. Like maxing out classic first, getting that look down. Then from there, if I need to build that from that base up, I will. But I don't want to push things too fast like you told me, like, because sometimes I'll be like, fuck this, I want to go all the way. Like, I can beat 300 pounds, but I got to chill.
I think, just like, and somebody's going to blast me on this because someone who has a deeper knowledge, but like, I'm just imagining that a lot of the guys in the classic physique are taking a little bit less and probably taking a little less risks and maybe putting their heart through a little bit less just because of the body weight shift that you kind of see the old school. I don't know if everyone in bodybuilding still does that, gets really gigantic, massive. But I'd imagine that's still the strategy for a lot of the top pro bodybuilders. So I think with what you mentioned, how you still would like to be athletic, it seems like, at least for now, what would call to you most is to stay in that classic physique. The other thing I think is that, again, Chris Bumstead like flipped everything upside down on its head, and the money and the notoriety is going to be there. And I think that the other style of bodybuilding, I think its luck is going to run out. I don't know if it will never exist, or like, I don't know if it will cease to exist, but it just is not as favorable. And I think that if you just even think back to what we were talking about when you were a kid, if a little kid saw who won the Mr. Olympia last year, does anybody know?
Last year, Big Ramy, the Open.
Yeah. So if
Big
a little
Ramy?
kid,
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little kid saw Big Ramy, I think they don't even understand. Like, obviously, you see him with his shirt off, it's a different thing. But if they just saw him like in a t-shirt, they might just think he's big and fat.
Yeah.
They might not have any idea.
Yeah, especially in an off season, like, not to rest
Yeah.
in peace, Sean Roden, but like, have you seen his off seasons? Like,
Yeah.
he get like when they're not in shape and diced, it's kind of it can be a sloppy look, especially if you have to like.
This is extreme.
Yeah.
but-
Well, that wasn't his off season. That was his before.
No.
Yeah, he has a guest posing that he got super slammed for, but I mean, like, I get what you're saying, and I would agree with. I don't know about the drug side because I'm not super deep into that yet. Like, I don't know if Classic is taking less, but just from a food, like, just food alone, like slamming yourself 6-7 meals a day, a lot of carbs, proteins, fats, like that's hard on your
Not being
body.
able to breathe.
Yeah, like stuff
And
like
you
that.
can still breathe. Like, you're not over here like,
No,
like you're
no.
still
Yeah,
chill.
this prep, I feel amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I almost want to do, if I didn't have to do like a rebound, and really, like, that's the fun part. That's what John was telling me about. The rebound is going to be pretty fun, feeding myself. But I feel good. Like, I've learned a lot about my body throughout this prep. Like, my body responds super well to a low carb, moderate to high fat. Like, I feel just day to day, the mental clarity, the like natural energy I have.
Yeah.
I like it way better. So
How about that dick though?
There's a penis pump right behind you, sir,
Yeah,
if you
just
want to
in
take
case.
a break.
I would love to use that right now.
Because you don't need to just whip it out right here on the show without a
Dude.
pre-pump.
I haven't even.
Imagine that. Imagine if you're like, how's out that dick though? And you're just like,
Dude, I
Like,
almost
whoops, you're
forgot.
not supposed to
I almost forgot I had a dick. It hasn't worked like in a month. Like, I've just been not from. It literally doesn't work, but like, I haven't had the desire to even go down, do nothing. Like, I'm just
Yep.
so
no
in
desire
prep.
to go down on yourself.
No, zero.
It's kind of nice though.
It
like
is.
having a little
It's not-
vacation from that. It's kind of
it's
nice.
just like not anything. Like, just it's not something I have to do every day. So
Yeah.
I like it. I'm a fan.
You can be too. You can lose focus very easy when when your dick is hungry
yes.
all the time.
You guys want to go on no fap? Just do a bodybuilding prep. You'll be good once you get lean.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Definitely.
did so I guess I'll say the hype. Did the hype live up? You know, the hype of PEDs live up to your expectations?
No, honestly, no. It might just be because I don't have too much experience with different compounds. Like, I'm not out here taking Tren or anything crazy like that by any means, but I think I really don't think they're amazing. Like, I think the main thing that allowed me to make improvements is like food and just the basic shit that everybody is gonna tell you. But yeah, I didn't see, like, obviously it's gonna help recovery, everything. But like this last off season, I wasn't even taking gear. Like, I wasn't using anything. I was basically natty, and I just maxed out food and sleep, and that got me to 240
Oh
without
shit! Okay.
yeah, that got me to 240 without any gear. So that just showed me, okay, I'm only gonna use this when these things are maxed out and when I need them. Like, I have every other box checked. The pharmacology side, or whatever you want to call the things, hasn't been checked. So now that I'm doing a prep and I'm gonna be competing against people, like, I don't want to be behind the eight. I want to be checking every box.
Everyone else in the NPC is going to be doing the same shit.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't want to leave that box unchecked. I just want enough. I'm confident in the things I've kind of mastered down, which is training and sleep. I'm big on those two. So I just need in my mind, just a little bit to add on top. And I didn't notice anything crazy besides more muscle fullness. Like when I'm not on it, the muscle fullness, that like big full pumps you get, those kind of diminish. But besides that, like I don't really notice a difference. It could be genetic, but I really don't notice much besides a little bit of strength, but nothing crazy. Like I could still probably hit the same numbers. It's really just the look, the fullness look kind of goes away, but that's it. So I'm sure there's other compounds out there that I'll try and I'll have a different opinion. But as far as just like test, no, not much. Like maybe I'm not taking enough to be able to tell, but I don't think it's, in my head, it's just something I need to add to have that, all those three things put together to be able to recover, sleep, get the look that I want on stage. And then after, I don't like in an off season, maybe, I don't know what I even plan to do yet, but I don't like, I think coming off, like Chris Bumstead, he's talked about it, like that is important. And that's something I am going to do like for as long as unless I can't, but that's something I'm going to always do. Like come off, do it the right way, and just a break. Like I don't see a reason to be on it all the time when it's not providing as much as I thought it would. Like there's no reason to be on it year round. I'm going to take breaks 100%.
I think a big thing that steroids do that maybe people don't maybe understand is they help a lot with mitigating the negative of training, the negative of the fact that maybe you didn't sleep as well, the negative of maybe you overate. Like it's going to help mitigate some of those maybe potential negative things that you might get from training. And obviously it's going to help on a positive side, but I think most of the net positive that you get is just from the mitigation of the negative. So it's not like you take it and all of a sudden it gives you, 40 or 50 pounds of strength, and it doesn't all of a sudden just give you like 30 or 40 pounds of muscle. It doesn't really work that way. And one of the best ways that it can work is for someone that's like trying to power lift that gets stronger as a result of taking performance enhancing drugs. What's kind of sitting in the background that people forget is a lot of times these athletes have gained weight. So sometimes people don't even understand, okay, I understand you didn't want to gain weight because you didn't want to gain fat. And if you take steroids, you can gain muscle and fat kind of same time. It's a little different, right? So I kind of understand that vantage point. But I would say that if somebody wanted to stay on the natty side, just explore gaining weight, just explore eating more. Like just try it. Like just do that first.
Yeah.
See what happens when you go from 198 to 220. But a lot of people, they're not willing to do it. They're not willing to take the time. They think they're going to be weaker in the higher weight class. Like this weight class is too big for me. But if you give yourself time, like our boy Sully did,
right?
He went from one class to another weight class to another weight class. I know eventually he made the choice that he made, but he did increase his body weight and he did increase his total over a period of time. So I think that's kind of a forgotten element. It's like you could just gain some weight and you'll be a lot stronger.
Right. And that's something I did do, like from probably like 15 to 18. Throughout all of high school, like I've tried the dirty bulk, I've tried the clean bulk, I've tried keto, I've tried all these the vertical diet, I've tried it all. And, I get what I want out of it. And then when it's time to make the decision I did, then that's what we're on. But yeah, I think just using calories and food alone, like that could go a long way. That's why when people are so quick to jump to it and they don't have a specific goal or they're not seeing it through, it's like, just eat, literally just eat.
Let me ask you more about that real quick, because I do remember when I saw you gaining weight, I'm like, God damn, Kenny is getting big. Like you were, it was crazy seeing you at 240. But how many times a day did you eat and what were your calories at? Just so people can understand, like when you're talking about eating, like it's just not a joke.
Yeah. So the food, do you want me to like get into the method I use or just what I eat?
No, an estimation of calories at least, and how many times a day you eat and stuff like that.
I don't, that's the thing, is the plan that I get, I don't count. There's no, I could count, but it's just literally like numbers that I plug in, like 60 grams of protein, all that. So I don't know the number, but I would say 6, sometimes even 7 meals a day. Like I was hungry, like my body was ready to eat. My metabolism too, like that's the one thing I experienced that was weird to me. I was like, I can eat all day. Like my body's burning because I'm doing it the right way. Like I'm eating, giving myself a couple hours eating, and my body just started to get like trained like that. And it was easy. Like, yeah, carbs, calorie cycling. Like I did the whole thing to like manipulation of calories, off days, lower, medium days is the baseline diet, high days are like the harder days of whatever. It's based off energy expenditure.
So what you're referring to is you had a meal plan and there were specific meals, right?
Yeah.
And then your coach had that calculated out, but you was not anything you had to really concern yourself
No,
with.
yeah. So yeah, he just gives me basically what to eat. I eat it, and then we adjust from there based on the look.
What was on the list of foods that you could eat?
Yeah, so he has an approved foods list. It's really any lean meat. Like it goes from fish to steak to beef to, especially in an off season.
Yeah.
I don't get too, but maybe he might have told me, but I don't do that. Like if I want a fattier piece of meat, I'm not gonna count I only count the added fats on top of the meal. So steak, mainly chicken, bison, fish. For fats, basic like nuts, almond butter, eggs, big one. And then carbs is really just rice, cream of rice, oatmeal if I can digest it during that time. Fruits, I'm a big fan of fruits in the off season too. It's easy to eat.
Yeah.
Even like breads, like I see Dr. Mike Isertel, like I like what they're doing too. They eat bread, like they make their meals good. That's what I do in an off season, as long as it's still structured in those macros.
Yeah.
Pretty much like anything goes. As long I'm not gonna go get in and out, but I'm still, I have fun with it for sure.
And I also don't think, one thing too is like when you're talking about that 6 to 7 meals, your workouts were a reflection of that, because I'd see you work out. And it's like, how you're moving a lot of training volume within your training sessions. Like you were doing a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So for the training, yeah, trainings, I love like it's hard until I got with like John and asked like, can we do training? Cause I'd make like 5 different training programs in one day and then mix. I can't stick to one cause I love it so much, but I would say the volume is definitely, especially in an off season, I like higher volume.
You can handle volume.
I'll still do the first compound is maybe 1 to 2 top sets, all out failure. And then from there, it's kind of just like a lot of volume. Like I'm just pounding the muscle as hard as I can because I know I'll be able to get out of that hole with calories and sleep. But in a prep, it's a little different. I kind of got to like cut the volume in half and maybe, do 3 to 4 exercises, run them into the ground, and then get out the gym and try to give myself enough time to recover.
I've also never really seen you injured. That's one thing I just realized. I always see you, good, but like, have you had to deal with anything, or because you're not moving, like you don't move super lightweight either. You move heavy shit, and you're keeping away from injury. So what do you attribute to that? What do you look at that? What do you look at in your training to stay away from injury?
I would say, honestly, I think taking time like to do strength training definitely benefited me. Like coming from powerlifting, I built that base up, like, my joints, bone, muscle, everything was already kind of in place. So by the time I was doing the bodybuilding, I'm still doing like winning warm-ups. Like I said, I'm still doing on off days, maybe not here, but like in my garage, I'm stretching, I'm walking, I'm doing everything I possibly know how to do that can prevent injury. All the, like everything, mobility, I'm doing all of it outside the gym so that I'm confident, because I'm scared. Like I'm kind of scared to get injured. I don't want to I want this to keep going. Yeah. So I'm even more on top of doing the things, making sure I'm not going in doing this type of shit when I haven't slept. Like if I haven't slept, I will cancel a training session. I'm not going in. I'm big on stuff like that. That's what I tell some people I help out, like I program for them. I'm like, if you slept 2 hours, I'm not going to be the guy like the typical, no, we like, I'm a warrior. I'm going in no matter what.
I'm a warrior.
I'm like, no, just take the day off, sleep, stay hydrated, eat food, and then the next day get after it. But I'm not going to like be in any type of deficit when I'm doing the training like that. I'm going to make sure everything is perfect. And then I'm that much more confident going under the heavy weight and letting it fly.
Yeah.
What else you got over there, Andrew?
What's a day of eating like right now? Like, because I know you're getting very, very close. So I'm curious. You went from eating a whole lot to probably not a lot.
Yeah. So, the whole entire prep to this point has been the same system, the carb cycling. And right now, I would say for the last 6 weeks, I've had 100 or 35 grams of carbs pre and post workout, and that's it.
For the carbs?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So pretty low, but like I said, he's still giving me like fats in the right places. Like the first meal of the day has fat, the second to last meal of the day has fat. So I'm not really like, I feel healthy, to be honest. Like I feel good. Besides the fatigue from the training and not being able to eat, that's the only thing. But right now it's like meal 1, 2, and 4 are basically like a cup of egg whites, 6 ounces of meat, and an ounce of almonds.
You said egg whites. I just walked out of the room in my head.
I internally threw up.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, but
fuck you, John.
Yeah. Yeah. But once you get to the, like, he gives me so much
John's
variety.
6'8", by the way. So I take that back, sir. You're a wonderful gentleman and a great human being.
His hand is the size of your face.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
See if we can bring up a picture of him. How can people like contact him as a coach? Because I know he helps people, but I don't know if he's got space or room.
Yeah, I think just shoot him a DM. He puts on a story sometimes. I know he has a lot of clients, but if you just DM him, I'm sure he'll get back to you. Like everybody I've referred has gone to him, and it's been good.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a giant.
When we podcasted with him,
Strong
that
man.
shit was over Zoom, right? Because I don't remember seeing his ass in person.
I know, we do need to
I
get
was
him
upset he didn't come in. I wanted to meet him.
Here. Yeah, we
That would that guy would like be as tall as our fucking
He wouldn't fit in here.
Jesus. It's comical.
Yeah,
he's strong as fuck too. I don't know if he's still doing strongman stuff, but he's very strong.
Yeah, his coach is what's his name? He's a football coach. Not House.
Is it Coach House? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, it is Coach House.
Yes, that's his coach.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
Damn.
Very cool.
Yeah. But Andrew, what I was saying was I've had a lot of variety this whole entire prep off season, like mixed match foods, whatever. But once you get this far out, the food selection is kind of slim, like the egg whites, the meat, the fat, like it's kind of, I'm picking from a small bucket of stuff at this point, but it's pretty low calories, but I'm feeling good. Like I felt really good about it so far.
Smokey.
Smokey, yes. Smokey.
Actually, go ahead.
No, I just want to say Smokey is between Smokey and this gym, everybody here, I have grown so much as a person. Like if I didn't come here, I remember the first day I came to super training, I was so nervous. Like Casey was like, also shout out to Casey. If it wasn't for him, none of this would happen. But I walked in and Casey was like, just go in the gym. I was like, okay. I go in the gym and Smokey, like, you know how he's kind of a dickhead.
Yeah.
He just like ignored me. I'm like kind of walking around him like the team, and I'm like, nobody's saying anything. Fuck. So I just asked like, hey, can I lift with you? And he's like, yeah. And then I go stretch and he walks up to me. He's like, hey, do you power lift? I was like, no, this is my first day in here. And he was like, all right, you're doing the meet in October or whatever. I'm like, shit. So from there, he took me under his wing and like just has done so much for me. I will never be able to repay him for, but he has been a huge, huge factor as well as all of you guys in this and how I'm progressing, how I'm mentally like taking notes on all you guys, even though you might not know it. I'm still taking everything into account and being like, okay, this is how you have to act. This is what you have to do. When bad shit happens, like, this is how you respond. So he's been huge, definitely.
Fuck, somebody's watching us at all times.
Taking notes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you reviewing notes? Because that's always my thing is like I'll write shit down and I'll never look at it again.
Yeah. So I highlight everything. I wasn't the best in school, but as far as like structuring things, I'm just like, I'm passionate about everything you guys talk about. Every single coach from like athlete, everything. I have tons of like maxed out notebooks, and I just go back, and if I have a question in my head before I go ask somebody, I'll go review it and be like, okay, like if it's a diet question, I'll like look back. I have them all listed out and organized, like, you know, John Meadows, Dave Tate, blah, 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 like the topic too. And I'll go back, look at the stuff I highlighted, be like, okay, there's my answer. Or if I just want to like, I'll go back and read it like a book, like, cause I don't read a lot of books, but if I did, those things would be what I read on. So I'm like, I already took these notes, so I'm just going to look at what I wrote down because I know it's stuff that clicked with me. And then that's kind of how I like review stuff. I'll do it probably every 2 months. It's not all the time, but I keep them under my bed. So if I ever need them, I'll go, or I'll give it to somebody and be like, take a look at these notes that I took from all these people. Like, let me know what you think. So stuff like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so in regards to like the staying calm and stuff, something that you and I connected with like the breath work and like, so are you still incorporating that stuff right now in prep, or is it just kind of?
Oh yeah. So I went down before but before I came here, I was super into like the whole meditation side of things, spiritual side of things, like went super down that avenue. And now I kind of like, I went too far into it to where it turned me off. So now I'm kind of like
getting what you want out of it.
Yeah, which is really just the control of the mind, the meditation part, the being able to like control what you can side of things. So I make sure like I wake up every morning at like 5, well before I have to be here, to take time for myself to kind of like chill, either go on a walk or go sit somewhere at a park and just kind of like really just ground myself as much as I can before starting the day, so that if anything comes my way that could potentially throw me off, I took that time to be present so that it doesn't throw me off, because before it would ruin my day. Like I would be a head case, I'd lose it, I'd be like all over the place, and then it'd affect other people. So I'm like, I need to make sure I take a chunk of time to give like my mind some attention and just be calm, so I don't get like spun up and let things get to me. So I would say things like that. Also like just just meditating too at night. Like my version of meditation is just maybe turning something on YouTube in my room, like soothing music or something, and just laying on the floor and just feeling the ground, just being super, super present with myself. Like whether I talk to myself, like walk through things, like everything's going to be fine. You're here. This is what you can control. These are the cards you're dealt. So here's what we're going to do. So that helps a lot. Yeah.
Sick.
Real quick question. On this prep, I don't know if you have, but how have you avoided binging? If you have.
That's tough. Being honest, this whole prep, I haven't had one craving.
That's amazing. Do you know why?
I think, I don't know. I think, to be honest, staying on top of the mental side of things is huge for everything. Like that has allowed me to have control of anything that, would want to make me binge. I have control of all that stuff, so I don't do it. But before I did, like in powerlifting, I actually did struggle with binge eating. Like I'd smoke a bunch of weed after the workout, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to eat all this. Like Sully can vouch for me. We would go to Walmart on our lunch break. We'd go to Walmart on our lunch break and buy everything, all the cakes, donuts, candies. Like remember when I bought that giant chocolate bar? I don't know if you remember, but it's on the Super Training page. But like we would buy mass amounts of just shit food. and we'd like brag about it. We'd be like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna eat all this tonight," and then compare it and stuff. Like we're at fucking elementary school comparing snacks and stuff. Awesome. But yeah, he's definitely taught me how to eat too. Like, that's a big dude. Like he taught me a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to the Sullivan brothers for sure.
What's Sully's IG? People need to
Silverback Sullivan.
Silverback Sullivan. People need to check this guy out.
Oh,
He's
shit, I
strong as
found
fuck.
Yeah, him.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that baby face. That was
Dang.
a 4 test. Like I honestly do not like that's. I'm glad in this case, I'm glad I got on some tests. I probably needed it. But yeah,
candy bar.
Sully definitely set the standard for discipline. Like seeing him come in here and just like walking in, eating the same foods every single day at the same time, not letting anything affect his training or his schedule. Like that definitely showed me a lot.
With his beanie on.
Yep.
And his
All
hoodie.
the time.
Yep.
Just
He's the man.
sitting in the gym and like doing or working his pinch grip.
Yeah.
Pinching like
doing these absurd
2.5 pound plates.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I'm working on my grip.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gotten crazy strong too.
His last meet, he put up some pretty crazy number, and he's dramatically leaner. Like I FaceTime all the time.
Yeah.
He's like way leaner. Like whatever Josh has him doing is like cool. And Josh Bryan is somebody that inspires me a lot too, because just like the tactical training side of things, everything he does, towel pull-ups, like all these cool exercises that work multiple muscles, and like his style of doing things is just amazing. Like Josh Bryan is the man.
Gas station strong.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Andrew, you want to take us on out of here, buddy?
Yeah, really quick though. This is Sully.
Yeah.
Wait, this
Holy
is Sully?
shit.
Yeah, he got lean, dude. I'm telling you.
But look at what the
He has some
fuck?
jumps on there too that are impressive.
Yeah, he's always been athletic.
Like he has
Very
some wild
explosive.
jumps. If you look, it's down there somewhere.
He's strong as shit and explosive.
Oh, the middle one in the
Okay,
black.
Just for our boy Sully for a second.
His face has still got to be fat, I bet.
That's a big man.
Look
jump.
how he landed in that squat. Like Sully's has like one thing about him is he's big and strong, but he has amazing mobility.
Yeah, he moves really well.
And
He moves well.
I promise this is a compliment, but when he lands, the whole building shakes.
Yeah.
Little mini earthquake.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, all right. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you guys stick around for Smelly's tip. But thank you for checking out today's episode. Please drop us some comments down below. Let us know what you guys think about this conversation, and hit up powerproject.live for everything Power Project, merch, etc., all the good shit. And subscribe if you guys are not subscribed. Follow at MB Power Project on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. Nsima, where you at?
Why do I keep checking this to see if there's anything in it?
It's like
Hopefully
checking the
we can
fridge.
fill it
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Keep opening it up, hoping something new is going to be there.
Something.
Nothing new in there, just poison. Check out the Discord. It's monsters are good. The Discord below at Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, at Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Kenny, where can people find you?
Kenny_Williams__. I'll change my name. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, we got to
we're
fix
improving.
that.
Lots of underscoring, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there.
You got to score over, not
Yeah.
under.
Yeah.
Smelly's tip is to get your ass out there and run. Today was day 56, so anyone can join me on any day to hop in on some running, and you can start your own journey of running every day. Before you know it, it'll be 2 weeks, it'll be 3 weeks, it'll be 4 weeks, and you'll be shocked at how quick you can get good at running. What I would suggest and where I would start is to go back and forth between walking and jogging. I talk about it quite often. Keep the heart rate really low, go low and slow, and take your time. And over a period of time, you'll get better and better at it. I also wanted to mention that the gym here at Super Training Gym is free. 855 Riverside Parkway, West Sacramento, California. We are open from 10 to 1 on Saturday and Sunday. So come on in. All you have to do is be fucking like fired up to lift. No other requirement. Just bring some good intensity, because we want to be able to lift like Kenny. We want to be able to lift with good intensity. And I know some of you people out there want to do that too. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Tuesday, Thursday also.
Oh, yeah. Tuesday, Thursday.
3 to 7 p.m.
3 to 7 p.m.
They
Bye.
got to get invited, though.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I think so.
No, they don't.